Many middle-aged and older men believe that waking up to pee several times a night is just a normal part of aging. But what if that's not the full story? What if there's something else happening inside your body, something most people overlook? The real reason behind frequent nighttime urination might surprise you. And the good news is, once you understand it, you can take back control. So stay with us until the end of this video to uncover the truth. But first, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you. Number 1. Living under chronic stress. The greatest fear many older men carry is losing control of their own bodies. Waking up several times a night to rush to the bathroom, feeling a constant pressure in the lower abdomen, or sensing that something is not working the way it used to, these are experiences that quietly rob peace of mind. What few realize is that one of the strongest drivers of prostate enlargement is not just age, but the silent habit of living under chronic stress. Modern medical research has made this connection clear. When the body remains in a state of stress, it produces cortisol, a hormone designed for short bursts of survival. In brief moments, it sharpens the senses and helps us face challenges. But when cortisol lingers for weeks, months, and years, it becomes destructive. Studies from the National Institutes of Health have shown that men with high stress markers have significantly higher rates of prostate inflammation and enlargement. Chronic stress weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, restricts blood flow, and disrupts the balance of testosterone and estrogen, two hormones that directly influence prostate growth. In fact, a 2019 study published in the Journal of Urology found that men who reported ongoing stress were nearly 2.7 times more likely to experience lower urinary tract symptoms linked to benign prostatic hyperplasia. There is also the cultural story. In America, many men over 60 were raised during a time when stoicism was considered strength. Farmers, factory workers, and veterans often bore their struggles in silence, believing it was their duty to provide and endure without complaint. That silence built resilience, but it also created a habit of holding stress inside. Over decades, that hidden weight becomes not just emotional but physical, pressing directly against the body's most sensitive systems. The prostate is one of those systems. Yet the message here is not fear but hope. Stress is powerful, but it is not unmanageable. Small, consistent practices have been proven to lower cortisol and reduce inflammation. Harvard Medical School has documented how 10 minutes of deep breathing each day lowers blood pressure and improves circulation. Johns Hopkins researchers have confirmed that regular walking just 20 minutes daily reduces stress hormone levels and restores healthy blood flow to the pelvic area. These simple acts, repeated daily, create measurable improvements in prostate health. There are stories of men in their 70s who found relief not through surgery, but through a change in how they handled stress. One retired teacher in Ohio shared that after beginning a routine of morning walks, journaling before bed, and weekly visits with old friends, his nightly bathroom trips dropped from 4 times to once. His doctor confirmed reduced inflammation, and his quality of life improved. His story is not rare. It is a reflection of how the body responds when the mind is given permission to rest. The essential truth is that stress is not an unavoidable sentence of old age. It is a signal, a reminder that the body and mind must be cared for together. By recognizing the link between stress and the prostate, it becomes possible to act early, to choose practices that calm the nervous system and protect long-term health. The invitation is simple and safe. Begin with one step today. Take a slow evening walk, sit quietly for 10 minutes focusing only on the breath, or share a worry with someone trusted instead of carrying it alone. These choices cost nothing, carry no risk, and bring the body back into balance. Chronic stress may be powerful, but so is the decision to live with more ease. The prostate, like the rest of the body, responds with gratitude when given the gift of peace. Number 2. Ignoring hydration. Picture the scene of a retired truck driver on the open highways of the Midwest. For decades, water was deliberately avoided to minimize bathroom stops, replaced instead with endless cups of coffee or the occasional soda. Even after leaving the job behind, the habit remained. Over the years, A quiet but damaging cycle developed less water, meant more concentrated urine, more irritation, and eventually an enlarged prostate that disrupted sleep and comfort. What once seemed practical became harmful. Medical science explains why. Without enough hydration, urine carries higher concentrations of salts and toxins that irritate the bladder lining. Because the prostate sits directly beneath the bladder, this irritation transfers downward, creating inflammation and gradual swelling. Research from the American Urological Association has shown that men consuming less than 40 ounces of water per day are more likely to experience lower urinary tract symptoms compared to those who hydrate properly. The process is simple. Dehydration stresses the bladder, and the bladder passes that stress to the prostate. Many older adults take medications for blood pressure or heart disease that increase water loss. Without intentional hydration, the risk grows even greater. Findings published in the Journal of Gerontology confirm that chronic low-level dehydration in older adults contributes to kidney stones, urinary tract infections, cognitive decline, and more frequent prostate problems. The evidence is clear: a body deprived of water cannot function at its best. The irony is that many reduce water intake to avoid nighttime bathroom trips, yet concentrated urine irritates the bladder further, actually increasing the urge to urinate. The very act meant to prevent disruption often intensifies it, creating sleepless nights and more strain on the prostate. The path forward is safe and simple. Hydration should be steady, not sudden. Small sips throughout the day maintain a healthy balance and keep urine a light yellow color. For most older adults, 60 to 80 ounces of water daily provides what the body requires, though this can vary depending on health conditions. Drinking more in the morning and early afternoon, then reducing intake in the evening, helps prevent nighttime urgency while still protecting the bladder and prostate. Herbal teas without caffeine also support gentle hydration. Practical examples illustrate the change. Older adults who carried water bottles and made a habit of sipping hourly often reported less discomfort, fewer bathroom trips at night, and a renewed sense of control. The body responded quickly once hydration was restored, proving that simple adjustments carry powerful results. Ignoring hydration is not protection. It is an unseen harm. Water is more than refreshment. It is a vital medicine for the prostate, a shield for the bladder, and an essential partner in overall health. By choosing steady hydration, the body is given what it needs to function smoothly. The prostate is spared unnecessary strain, and daily life becomes calmer and more comfortable. Number 3. Sitting too long. On a Sunday afternoon, in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the familiar sound of a baseball game plays on television. A grandfather settles into his favorite recliner, a soft blanket draped over his legs, a glass of iced tea resting nearby. Hours pass as the innings stretch on, followed by the evening news and later a rerun of a favorite Western film. The comfort of routine and the ease of sitting make the day feel peaceful, yet beneath that stillness the body quietly struggles. What seems like harmless rest is, in truth, one of the hidden habits that place lasting strain on the prostate. Medical science explains why. Long periods of sitting press directly on the pelvic region, reducing circulation and limiting oxygen flow to tissues. Over time, blood vessels narrow, pelvic floor muscles weaken, and the bladder struggles to empty completely. Stagnant urine irritates the bladder lining, and because the prostate sits just beneath it, irritation spreads downward, fueling inflammation and enlargement. Harvard researchers have noted that men who sit more than 6 hours daily report significantly more urinary symptoms linked to benign prostatic hyperplasia than those who rise and move regularly. Stillness may appear restful to the mind, but biologically it creates pressure and disruption. Aging magnifies the challenge. Natural muscle loss, slower recovery from inflammation, and weight gain around the abdomen combine to worsen the effects of inactivity. Extra abdominal fat itself releases inflammatory chemicals that circulate through the body and directly affect the prostate. Hours spent sitting become more than relaxation. They become a physiological stress that feeds a cycle of swelling and discomfort. Fortunately, the solution is within reach and requires no gym membership or complicated regimen. Standing every 30 minutes, stretching gently, or taking a short walk around the house restores circulation and relieves pelvic pressure. Even simple actions like walking to the mailbox, tidying the kitchen, or standing during commercials interrupt prolonged sitting and allow the body to reset. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that older adults who added frequent light activity into daily routines reported improved bladder function and reduced inflammation compared to peers who remained sedentary. Real-life experiences confirm this. One 75-year-old retired teacher in Pennsylvania began setting a timer to remind him to stand and walk a few minutes each half hour. Within a month, his nighttime trips to the bathroom decreased, and his energy improved. He shared that what once felt like a burden soon became a natural rhythm, giving him both comfort and confidence. Sitting too long is more than a lifestyle choice. It is a hidden strain on the prostate. The remedy is safe, simple, and proven effective. Rise often, stretch lightly, and make small movements part of daily living. Each time the body stands, circulation improves, pressure eases, and the prostate is protected. In this way, every step becomes a quiet act of healing, turning passive hours into opportunities for renewed strength and well-being. Number 4. Too much caffeine. Mornings in America often begin with the familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee filling the kitchen, the gentle hiss of a coffee maker, and the comfort of a warm mug in hand, while the newspaper rests on the table or the porch welcomes the day. For decades, this ritual has been a symbol of energy, routine, and even companionship. That first sip feels like a promise to start the day strong, yet what begins as a comforting habit can, over time, quietly place strain on the prostate and bladder, creating more discomfort than relief. Medical studies have shown that caffeine acts as a diuretic, increasing the amount of urine produced by the kidneys. For a healthy young bladder, this may only mean more frequent trips to the restroom. But in older adults, where the prostate often presses against the urinary tract, the extra volume creates significant pressure. Caffeine also stimulates bladder muscle contractions, which leads to urgency, leakage, or nighttime interruptions. A 2017 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that men over 60 who consumed more than 3 cups of coffee daily were almost twice as likely to experience lower urinary tract symptoms compared to those who limited their caffeine intake. The effects extend beyond urination. Caffeine tightens the muscles around the neck of the bladder, making it harder to empty fully. That incomplete emptying leaves behind residual urine, which irritates the prostate further and raises the risk of infection. For men already living with benign prostatic hyperplasia, this creates a cycle of swelling, inflammation, and frustration. Many older men believe their sleepless nights and frequent urges are unavoidable signs of aging, yet science reveals that excess caffeine is often a hidden cause. Real-life examples bring this home. In one case, a 74-year-old from Illinois who enjoyed 4 cups of strong coffee each day found himself waking up 5 or 6 times nightly. After gradually replacing afternoon coffee with herbal tea and reducing his daily caffeine intake by half, his nightly bathroom trips dropped to just 2. Within weeks, he reported better rest, improved energy during the day, and greater comfort overall. His story is not an exception, but a reflection of how sensitive the aging prostate is to caffeine. The lesson is not that coffee must be abandoned. For many, that morning cup is a cherished ritual that brings comfort and joy. What matters is moderation and timing. 1 small cup in the morning is generally well tolerated, but switching to decaffeinated coffee or herbal teas later in the day prevents the constant stimulation that overwhelms the bladder and prostate. Balancing pleasure with protection allows both the spirit and the body to thrive. Too much caffeine is not simply a lifestyle choice. It is a silent irritant to the prostate. By recognizing its effects and making gentle adjustments, mornings can still begin with warmth and familiarity, but without the burden of restless nights and constant urgency. The safe, practical step is to honor the body's limits while preserving the joy of ritual. A balanced approach to caffeine protects the prostate, restores restful sleep, and allows each new day to begin not with strain but with strength. Number 5. Eating spicy and processed foods, chili peppers, hot wings, pepperoni pizza, frozen dinners, packaged snacks. These foods are woven into the fabric of American culture, from Friday night football games to quick weeknight meals. They bring flavor, convenience, and memories of gatherings with family and friends. Yet while the taste is satisfying and the tradition comforting, a steady diet of spicy and processed foods slowly creates hidden problems for the prostate. Scientific evidence explains this connection clearly. Spicy ingredients such as chili, black pepper, and hot sauce can trigger inflammation throughout the body. In small amounts, they are not harmful, but when consumed frequently, they irritate the bladder and prostate. Processed foods carry their own dangers. High levels of sodium cause water retention, preservatives and artificial flavors disrupt natural balance, and unhealthy fats fuel systemic inflammation. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition has shown that men with diets rich in processed meats and high-sodium packaged foods have significantly higher rates of prostate enlargement and urinary tract symptoms compared to those who eat more whole foods. The impact is not only biological but cultural. For decades, convenience foods represented progress. TV dinners after long shifts, quick bites on the road, or spicy takeout shared with loved ones. These choices fit busy lifestyles, but were never designed to support aging bodies. As years pass, the cumulative effect becomes clear: more bloating, more inflammation, and more pressure on the prostate. Stories from patients illustrate this vividly. One 70-year-old retired firefighter from Texas admitted that Tex-Mex meals had been a weekly tradition for years. He loved the spice, the cheese, and the convenience, but constant urinary discomfort began interfering with sleep and daily activities. With guidance, he replaced half of his processed meals with fresh salads, grilled fish, and roasted vegetables, while saving spicy foods for special occasions. Within 2 months, his symptoms eased, and he no longer dreaded long car rides or sleepless nights. He did not give up tradition, he rebalanced it, and his prostate responded with relief. The hopeful message is that change does not require abandoning favorite flavors. It requires moderation and smarter choices. A plate filled mostly with fresh, whole foods, complemented by occasional spicy dishes, allows enjoyment without punishment. Adding anti-inflammatory foods like berries, leafy greens, nuts, and olive oil strengthens the body's defenses and calms the prostate. Reducing reliance on packaged meals and salty snacks gradually restores balance and lessens irritation. Eating spicy and processed foods every day is more than a matter of taste. It is a habit that quietly inflames the body and enlarges the prostate. But the remedy is safe and achievable. By choosing fresh, nourishing foods most of the time and saving processed or spicy meals for occasional enjoyment, both tradition and health can coexist. Each balanced choice is a step toward comfort, energy, and a prostate that remains calm and steady with age. Number 6. Holding urine too long. A long car ride on the interstate. A church service that stretches past an hour. A movie at the local theater that feels too good to interrupt. These familiar moments often lead to one decision: hold it in and wait. For many older adults, the habit of delaying trips to the restroom feels practical or polite, but in truth it places unnecessary strain on the bladder and, most importantly, on the prostate. The science behind this is straightforward. When urine is held for long periods, the bladder stretches beyond its comfort zone. That extra pressure pushes downward onto the prostate, which sits just beneath it. Over time, repeated stretching causes irritation and swelling of the prostate tissue. Studies published in the Journal of Urology confirm that men who regularly delay urination are more likely to experience lower urinary tract symptoms, incomplete bladder emptying, and increased risk of infection. What seems like a minor choice in the moment creates lasting consequences. The danger becomes more serious with age. As muscles controlling the bladder weaken naturally over the decades, the ability to fully empty decreases. Holding urine only adds to the challenge, leaving behind stagnant fluid. This leftover urine becomes a breeding ground for bacteria, increasing the risk of urinary tract infections that further irritate the prostate. In addition, incomplete emptying heightens nighttime urgency, forcing more frequent trips to the bathroom and disrupting sleep. The cycle is frustrating but preventable. Real stories highlight the impact. A 78-year-old former coach in Ohio developed the habit of ignoring bathroom signals during long road trips, proud of his endurance. By the time he sought help, his bladder was retaining significant amounts of urine, and his prostate had become enlarged and inflamed. With medical guidance, he began responding to urges promptly, adjusted his travel schedule to allow regular breaks, and practiced simple pelvic floor exercises. Within weeks, his symptoms eased, and the constant discomfort that had once seemed inevitable improved dramatically. The solution is both simple and safe. Listening to the body's signals and responding promptly prevents strain on the bladder and prostate. Planning ahead by identifying rest stops during road trips, choosing aisle seats at theaters or events, and excusing oneself without embarrassment during gatherings are all practical strategies. Doctors recommend aiming to empty the bladder every 3 to 4 hours during the day and avoiding prolonged delay once the urge is felt. Holding urine too long is not a sign of discipline or strength. It is a hidden source of stress on the urinary system. By honoring the body's natural cues, the bladder remains healthier, the prostate avoids unnecessary pressure, and daily comfort improves. Every timely trip to the restroom is an act of protection, turning what once felt like an inconvenience into a choice for freedom, dignity, and lasting health. Number 7. Smoking or inhaling. Secondhand smoke. More than 34 million adults in the United States still smoke cigarettes, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Each year, smoking is responsible for nearly 480,000 deaths nationwide, making it the leading cause of preventable disease. While most people connect smoking to lung cancer or heart disease, fewer realize that tobacco smoke also has a direct and destructive impact on the prostate. Scientific research shows that the chemicals in cigarettes reduce blood flow, increase oxidative stress, and damage delicate tissues throughout the body, including the prostate gland. Smoking also weakens the immune system and strips the body of antioxidants that normally protect against inflammation. A study published in the International Journal of Cancer revealed that men who smoked regularly were significantly more likely to develop prostate enlargement and even aggressive forms of prostate cancer compared to non-smokers. The evidence is consistent. Every cigarette intensifies inflammation and accelerates damage. Secondhand smoke carries similar risks. Older adults who live with or spend time around smokers breathe in thousands of toxic compounds that trigger the same inflammatory response. The prostate, already sensitive due to aging and hormonal changes, becomes even more vulnerable under constant exposure. Even men who quit smoking decades ago can still face increased risk if surrounded by secondhand smoke in homes, social spaces, or workplaces. The cultural history of smoking in America adds to the challenge. For much of the 20th century, smoking was woven into daily life, seen in movies, workplaces, and even doctors' offices. Many older men began smoking as teenagers, when cigarettes were advertised as glamorous or calming. For them, the habit became part of identity and routine. Breaking free from it is not easy, but medical science confirms it is never too late. The body begins to heal almost immediately after quitting. Within weeks, circulation improves, inflammation decreases, and the prostate can begin repairing itself. One patient, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran, smoked for over 40 years before deciding to stop. With support from his doctor and nicotine replacement therapy, he gradually quit. Within 3 months, his energy increased, his urinary symptoms eased, and his physician noted reduced signs of inflammation. His story reflects what countless studies confirm. Quitting smoking at any age produces measurable benefits. The path forward is clear. Eliminating cigarettes and avoiding secondhand smoke are among the most powerful steps to protect the prostate. For those still smoking, tools such as counseling, nicotine patches, and support groups offer safe and effective strategies. For those who have already quit, guarding against secondhand exposure is equally important. Smoking is more than a personal choice. It is a silent attack on the prostate and overall health. Each cigarette avoided is not just a victory for the lungs or the heart, but a shield for the prostate. The safe and achievable change is to step away from smoke, choose clean air, and allow the body to heal. The prostate, like the rest of the body, responds gratefully when given the chance to recover. Number 8. Skipping regular health screenings. How many men wait until pain becomes unbearable before finally calling the doctor? This hesitation is all too common, especially among older adults in America who grew up believing that toughness meant ignoring discomfort. For the prostate, this delay can be costly. Enlargement often begins silently, without obvious symptoms, until the problem is already advanced. By the time frequent urination, interrupted sleep, or painful urgency appear, years of quiet changes may have already taken place. Medical research underscores the importance of early detection. Routine prostate screenings, including digital rectal exams and prostate-specific antigen (PSA) blood tests, can identify inflammation, enlargement, or even early cancer before they cause significant harm. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that men who underwent regular screenings had up to a 40% lower chance of dying from prostate cancer compared to those who avoided them. Screenings are not about finding disease in every case. They are about ensuring problems are caught when solutions are simpler, safer, and less invasive. Cultural habits contribute to this challenge. In many American households, older men traditionally put family and work first, often dismissing their own health until absolutely necessary. Some feel embarrassment discussing urinary problems, while others fear bad news. Unfortunately, silence does not protect. It allows small issues to grow into serious ones. Prostate enlargement that could have been managed with lifestyle changes may progress to the point of needing surgery if left unchecked. Practical experience demonstrates the value of prevention. A 68-year-old retired factory worker from Michigan came for a routine checkup after his wife insisted. He felt fine and expected nothing unusual. The exam, however, revealed early signs of prostate enlargement. With small adjustments, hydration, dietary changes, and more frequent walking, he avoided medication and continued living comfortably. He later admitted that without his wife's encouragement, he would have waited until symptoms appeared, not realizing that prevention had already spared him future suffering. The lesson is simple. Screenings provide peace of mind and an opportunity for early action. Most are quick, non-invasive, and performed in the privacy of a doctor's office. They carry little risk but enormous benefit. Scheduling an annual visit with a trusted physician is not an admission of weakness. It is an act of wisdom and strength. Skipping regular health screenings does not prevent disease, it hides it until it becomes harder to manage. By choosing routine checkups, the prostate is protected, options remain open, and comfort is preserved. The safe step forward is to treat screenings not as a burden but as a gift, an investment in years of healthier, calmer living. Number 9. Carrying too much belly fat. A man standing in front of the mirror struggles to fasten the button on his shirt or pulls at a belt that no longer fits as it once did. This small, familiar moment tells a larger story. Extra weight around the belly is not just about appearance or clothing size. For older adults, it is a visible sign of hidden changes inside the body, changes that directly affect the prostate. Medical evidence is clear. Belly fat is metabolically active tissue, releasing inflammatory chemicals called cytokines that circulate through the bloodstream. These chemicals irritate organs, disrupt hormonal balance, and place constant stress on the prostate. A study from the Mayo Clinic showed that men with larger waistlines had significantly higher risks of benign prostatic hyperplasia and urinary tract symptoms compared to men of healthy weight. Excess abdominal fat also reduces testosterone while increasing estrogen levels, creating a hormonal environment that encourages prostate growth. The problem is compounded by physical pressure. Belly fat pushes downward against the bladder and pelvic organs, making urination more difficult and increasing nighttime urgency. Even modest weight gain can have a noticeable impact. Johns Hopkins researchers found that men who lost just 10 pounds experienced measurable improvement in urinary comfort and reduced prostate-related symptoms. The link is undeniable. More belly fat equals more pressure, more inflammation, and greater discomfort. Cultural habits often play a role. In America, fast food, oversized portions, and sedentary routines have shaped decades of eating and living. Retirement sometimes reduces daily movement while habits of indulgence remain. What begins as a gradual weight increase over the years becomes a steady source of strain on the body's most sensitive systems. Yet the hopeful truth is that change does not require drastic measures. Simple adjustments are powerful. Smaller portion sizes, replacing sugary drinks with water, adding more vegetables and lean proteins, and taking a 20-minute walk each day all contribute to steady, sustainable weight loss. A retired postal worker in Florida once shared how replacing nightly desserts with fresh fruit and walking after dinner with his wife led to a 20-pound weight loss over a year. His prostate symptoms eased, his sleep improved, and his sense of vitality returned. The message is clear. Carrying too much belly fat is not simply cosmetic. It is a hidden challenge to prostate health. The safe and effective action is to focus on steady improvements rather than quick fixes. Every pound lost reduces pressure, lowers inflammation, and restores balance. The body responds quickly to these efforts, rewarding each choice with greater comfort and energy. By lightening the load around the waist, the prostate is given space to function properly, and daily life becomes freer and more enjoyable. Number 10. Neglecting sleep. A tired body without rest is like a house standing on a weak foundation. The walls may look steady for a while, but cracks begin to form. The structure loses balance, and eventually the strain becomes impossible to ignore. In the same way, neglecting sleep slowly erodes the body's strength, disrupts its natural repair systems, and places silent stress on the prostate. Sleep is not simply a time of rest. It is the body's most powerful form of healing. During deep sleep, inflammation is reduced, hormones are balanced, and tissues are repaired. When sleep is cut short or broken repeatedly, these vital processes are interrupted. The National Sleep Foundation reports that adults over 65 who sleep fewer than 6 hours per night face a significantly higher risk of urinary problems, including urgency, incomplete bladder emptying, and nighttime trips to the bathroom. Lack of sleep drives cortisol levels higher, fueling the same cycle of inflammation that enlarges the prostate. The effects are easy to see. Without proper rest, the bladder becomes more irritable, nerves are more sensitive, and muscles controlling urination are less coordinated. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older men with chronic insomnia were nearly twice as likely to experience lower urinary tract symptoms compared to those who slept well. The science is clear. Disrupted sleep and prostate discomfort reinforce one another, creating a cycle of fatigue and frustration. The causes of poor sleep are often woven into daily life. Late night television, excessive caffeine in the afternoon, irregular meal times, and stress carried to bed all contribute to restless nights. Cultural habits, like working late into the evening or relying on stimulants for energy, may feel productive but rob the body of its chance to heal. Hope, however, is found in small, safe changes. Maintaining a consistent bedtime, dimming lights in the evening, and avoiding stimulants after lunch help prepare the body for rest. Gentle activities such as reading a book, listening to calming music, or practicing breathing exercises before bed signal the nervous system to relax. Many older adults have also found benefit in creating a restful sleep environment, cooler temperatures, quiet surroundings, and supportive bedding. In one case, a 76-year-old retired carpenter in North Carolina shifted his nightly routine by limiting television before bed and taking a short walk after dinner. Within weeks, he was sleeping 6 to 7 uninterrupted hours, and his nightly bathroom visits decreased dramatically. The lesson is profound, yet simple. Neglecting sleep is like neglecting the foundation of health itself. Protecting 7 to 8 hours of restorative rest each night is one of the safest, most effective ways to support the prostate and overall well-being. Choosing sleep is not indulgence, it is medicine. Each night of deep rest strengthens the foundation, reduces inflammation, and allows the prostate to function more smoothly. A steady commitment to healthy sleep transforms not only the night, but also every waking hour, turning fatigue into energy and discomfort into comfort. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Before we part ways, I want to offer you something simple, honest, and from the heart. As the years go by, many of us carry quiet habits we rarely speak of, living under stress, drinking too little water, sitting too long, ignoring health checkups, brushing aside discomfort. And we tell ourselves it's just part of getting older. But the truth is, these habits do not have to define how we live the rest of our lives. They do not have to take away our peace or our dignity. Taking care of your prostate and your whole body is not about fear. It's about respect. It's about saying, I've spent a lifetime caring for others now. It's time to take care of myself. Even one small step, like taking a walk today, drinking a little more water, or getting that checkup you've been meaning to schedule, can lead to real, lasting change. This message is not just about health. It's about your worth, because you still matter. Your well-being matters. Your peace of mind matters. Your story is still unfolding, and it's never too late to make it one of strength and comfort. If this video brought you value, I kindly invite you to share it with someone you care about. And if this is your first time visiting our channel, please consider subscribing so you won't miss the next valuable message we share. And if you feel moved to do so, leave a comment below. What's one small thing you can do today for your well-being? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Wishing you peace of mind, strong health, and a truly beautiful